Well, hello. This is Ripley, the drum cat, and she came here to make sure that I had plenty of cat hair on my shirt that I just hit with the lint roller. And, well, this is a little series that I'm going to start doing online here because through the power of self-publishing and technology, we have the ability to do these sorts of things nowadays, now don't we? That's right, yes. So, anyways, I would like to welcome you guys here. This is my little drum studio. This is my cat, obviously, Ripley. She's deaf, she loves the drums, she loves band practice, and obviously, she can't stand me. One of my philosophical points as far as drumming goes is that these things that we call drums and that we get called being a drummer, the reality of it is that we play these things. This is our real instrument, if you think about it. How do we wield these two sticks of wood that we carry around with us? And some people, it may drive them crazy. Some people, it may make them dance. Most people, it makes them dance, or, you know, to varying degrees. Anyhow, to become a better drummer, you have to become a better stick player. That's really what it boils down to. So, a couple of the strokes that I want to demonstrate for you today. I'm going to show you the upstroke and the downstroke, and we're going to combine that. So, the first thing is the upstroke. And an upstroke starts low and ends high. Okay, you have a range of motion. This is 0 degrees, this is 90 degrees. 0, 90, 0, 90. Okay, so we're going to start at 0 degrees, and we're going to hit the drum actually. So we have to sort of drop it and let it tap. And upstrokes are typically very quiet. They're going to be a grace note. So this is what a good upstroke looks like. Did you hear anything? That, listen. You hear that little bit? That's an upstroke. You're going to hit the drum. You have to almost pretend like there's something sticky on the head. And if you stick down to it for too long, it's going to pull you in like that and run your arm down a garbage disposal. No, I'm just kidding. It won't. But you have to, come up with things in your mind to sort of steer you into, let's just get off the head like that. So 0 to 90. If you focus this with your wrist, like that, so you come up with a wrist stroke, so it's all on the wrist at that point. If you're doing your fingers like that, that's not good, because watch what happens when you pull your fingers in. Your stick's only at like 45 degrees. So you want your wrist stroke to be really strong and stable, like that, you see? So in the right hand as well. I was just doing my left hand. Okay, so let's talk about the upstroke and the downstroke. The upstroke starts low and ends high. The downstroke starts high and ends low. So together, it's going to be up, down, up, down, up, down. And notice I'm just doing wrists, up, down. You do it with my right hand, maybe you can see a little better. Up, down, up, down, up, like that. Where this comes into play now, and where you can benefit greatly from, is to use this to kind of retool your double strokes. Okay, if you play double strokes like this, and I'm pushing downwards, the faster I'm going to go lower. So look what happens. In order for me to get that, I have to go to here to get any sort of double strokes. If that's where your double strokes are, let me show you a better way. And what that way is using an upstroke and a downstroke in quick succession. Up, down. The beauty in that is that when you play on a surface that isn't very reboundive, freaking cat, like this. Let's go the other way. I'm going to go down like this, pressing the first note. Watch what happens here. not going to get very fast. Now, let's do it the other way. So, up, down, up. Traditional grip. Come back here, you. Kitty, let's put you down for a minute. Okay. Same thing. Like that. So, getting your double strokes together is, if you try to do it by sound, it can kind of screw you up a little bit. Oh, and hello, Jim. Hi. So, it's the motion again is up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, like that. And sometimes it can be a little tricky because you're playing on the and. So if you're going 1 and 2 and like that, come here, come on. You're gonna be that way. Sorry, guys. It's the needy cat today. So anyway, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, like that. You work with your wrists, and when you get to the point where wrists aren't really going to do it anymore, then move outwards to your fingers. Like that. Wrists will control the bigger motions. Fingers control the tiny grace notes and whatnot. So, keeping the brevity concept in mind today, let's just look at pulling sound out of a drum set. Now, I was also taught that when you play drums, you don't beat the sound into the drum, you pull it outwards. You're lifting the sound out of the drum, you're pulling it back towards you. You have to pull the sound out rather than beat it in. It's very important. It's a great concept. It's a good visual aid because it promotes dynamics, if you really start thinking about it. A global concept that I like to think about is congruence. Am I playing in congruence with the volume that is needed? Is the band loud? Okay, probably I'm gonna have to play loud, or they're gonna have to turn down. Okay, how big is the room? I'm not gonna play full volume in a rehearsal in here. Kitty, you gotta go. Sorry. I'm not gonna play full volume in here with a bunch of guys like I did last night. Had rehearsal. I'm gonna basically play to the congruence of the room. And so congruence is a big sort of concept that you can sort of use in the largesse of your drumming and how you think about what it is that you do. And okay, Kitty. Okay, so moving on. Pulling sound out of the drum. My friend Buddy Gibbons this morning, he and I had a good long talk. Who's chiming in here? Hey, Jim Chesborough, what's happening? When do we use a downstroke? I never use a downstroke 4 years. You always use downstrokes. You're coming from high to low. If you're coming from high to low, that's a downstroke. When you go like right here, if you're playing like that, you're coming from a down and you're leaving it down. That's a downstroke. So getting back to pulling sound out of the drums, and my friend Buddy this morning, Buddy Gibbons and I were having a discussion. He said he's a core guy, and they were taught to play into the drum. And as a result, being able to really relax is something that comes secondary. Because he said to me, he says, I really like your flow. And I said, well, basically it's all about just being able to relax and, settle into the groove. And he says, well, we were taught to really bear down and play through the head because, we're playing into Kevlar, so we were taught to play into it. And I was like, wow, well. So I started thinking, how does one get themselves out of that, to where they're trying to bury the stick in every time? So I thought about the upstroke and the downstroke like that. And so one of the things you can do when you play, say like a 2 and 4 groove, is maybe, you know, catch the 16th note before the 2 and the 4. So it'd be the ah of 1 and the ah of 3. So just really simple, kind of quick. Hear that? 1 again, up, and 3, and up. So if you catch that, what that's going to help you do, because you're having to, you know, get off the head like that. You're used, you know, that implies the relaxation or the pulling back and pulling the sound out, and then when you come back down to the head, it's more of just a finger snap at that. See right there, I grab with these fingers, but not so, you know, they're not going to be off the stick. They shouldn't be off the stick. Not like that. So, and then it's just a little squeeze, kind of like that, to get that secondary stroke. So, and another thing you can do is add a tap stroke after that. So, somebody's calling me here on my phone, and my phone is being used right now, so I'm going to, hi Seattle Drum School, I decline for a minute and finish my drum lesson. And so anyway, if you play, it almost sounds like a reverb snare. So that last tap, if you can get that to manage out, that's going to sort of make you have to relax. So, and with that method, so you're having to use that, you're putting the sort of the, you're expending that energy instead of going like this right here. You have to expend the energy first to bring the stick up and then come back down. So it's like you're getting rid of that energy right there, and then the last little tap sort of ensures that the relaxation stays in that one place. And if you do that, then it kind of like frees up your hand and it frees up your dynamics, and it lets you get a better flow. Now, one thing about flow that I also wanted to say is that I have really big hands, so I use 2 Bs. And that makes it so where I can actually control the stick. I can get my hand around the stick and I can play sort of, you know, really quiet, as quiet as I need to. That's kind of like, you know, if you're playing in a restaurant. Which, by the way, if you go play in a restaurant, that's how you learn how to play quiet, because you get yelled at a few times by a chef. Yeah, you'll sort of start playing quieter. Okay, so question time. Let's see what it says here. Stephen Dam. That's a cool tool to use for sound and saving on energy. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Jim, the upstrokes. Yeah, upstrokes. So here, so like that. That's how it's going to sound. You hear, that's the upstroke. And then follow it with the downstroke. And then you just kind of level it off and smooth it out and use your fingers. And then all that's going to help you out. So there we covered double strokes. We covered 2 sides of the strokes. I think the next lesson I will give will be on the 4 types of strokes. And we'll just go from there. Feel free to ask questions in the video box and stuff, and in the comments. And yeah, BillRay.me, BillRayDrums.com, which will be back up and running soon. It goes to BillRay.me for the moment. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks.